Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are wading into some properly murky waters.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're talking about the one thing that feels like it. It should be the most natural biological function we have. I mean, every single one of our ancestors obviously managed to do it successfully.
Right, by definition.
Yeah. But somehow in the modern world, it has become this source of just absolute dread for millions of people.
We are talking about dating and, more specifically, the hidden mechanics of attraction.
Right. And the question I really want to drill down into today is fundamental. Is dating an art form that we have to learn, like playing the piano? Or is it just a biological program running in the background that we have zero control over?
Yeah, the ultimate tension.
Because it feels like we're constantly told to just, be ourselves, but then simultaneously we're sold 1 million books on how to hack the system. It's confusing.
It's incredibly confusing. It's nature versus strategy. And to really get to the bottom of it, we have a very eclectic stack of sources today. We aren't just looking at your standard relationship advice. We are mashing up some heavy-duty neuroscience with some surprisingly ruthless modern dating strategy.
Yeah, the mix is wild. So we've got How to Be Good at Dating by Alvaro de Menard, which is this very practical, slightly edgy blog post that treats dating almost like an economy.
And then we have a transcript from relationship coach Matthew Hussey on invisible flirting techniques. That's going to serve as our sort of tactical how-to manual.
But to ground all that strategy, we're looking at Innate by Kevin Mitchell. This is a serious scientific text on the wiring of the brain and how our genetics shape who we actually are.
Plus, we've sprinkled in some hard data from PLS1 and Elite Singles about the psychology of music and attraction.
So the mission here is to synthesize these completely disparate fields: neuroscience, evolutionary biology, and modern strategy. We want to figure out how much control you actually have over who you like, and more importantly, who likes you. So let's start with the hardware. Before you even download Hinge or Tinder, what are you bringing to the table?
You are bringing your brain. And this is where Kevin Mitchell's book, Innate, is just so crucial. He argues that the most important thing to understand is that human brains come pre-wired, but not hardwired.
Pre-wired, but not hardwired. That sounds a little bit like a riddle. What does that actually mean for me if I'm, say, heading out on a Friday night?
It means you aren't a blank slate, but you aren't a robot either. You know the old debate, nature versus nurture?
Sure.
Mitchell argues that's just a false dichotomy. He introduces this fascinating visual concept called Waddington's landscape.
I saw this in the notes. It's a metaphor for development, like a marble rolling down a hill.
Yes, exactly. Imagine a marble rolling down a hill, but the hill isn't the smooth ramp. It has valleys, ridges, and channels carved into it.
Right.
That landscape, that's your genetics. It sets the possibilities. It dictates where the ball can actually go.
Okay, so the landscape is basically the map.
Right. But as the ball rolls down, and that roll is your development from a fetus all the way to an adult, it hits bumps, random noise, little environmental factors.
Yeah.
Mitchell calls this developmental noise.
Okay.
And these little nudges determine which specific valley the ball finally ends up in.
So two marbles, like identical twins for instance, could start at the exact same spot on the genetic hill, but end up in completely different valleys just based on the random chaos of the roll.
Precisely. And this explains why we have these innate predispositions. Things like the big 5 personality traits. Extroversion, neuroticism, conscientiousness.
Right.
Mitchell points out that these have a genetic basis, but the specific way they manifest is unique to you. You bring a distinct temperament into the dating market that you didn't choose. It's just there.
So if you're highly neurotic or highly introverted, that's not just a mood you're in, that's the valley your marble rolled into.
It's your biological baseline. And that connects to another concept from Mitchell that I think fundamentally changes how we view compatibility.
The umwelt.
The umwelt. This is the German term.
Right.
Yes. It translates roughly to environment or surroundings. But in biology, it refers to the self-centered world that every organism lives in.
Give me the tick example. I love this from the text.
Oh, the tick is perfect. So, a tick doesn't care about a beautiful sunset. It doesn't care about Mozart. Its sensory world, its umwelt, is defined entirely by the smell of butyric acid and the temperature of blood.
That is its entire reality.
Completely. Everything else effectively doesn't exist for the tick.
Okay, but humans aren't ticks. I mean, we all see the same world. If we're in the same room, we're in the same room.
Do we, though? Mitchell argues that we don't. We all have a human life and trick. Well, sure, but individual variations are massive.
How so?
Well, if you are highly neurotic, your brain is literally wired to scan a room for threats or signs of rejection. If you are highly extroverted, that exact same room looks like a playground of social reward. You are physically perceiving a different reality than the person standing right next to you.
That actually explains a lot of really bad dates. You're sitting at the same table, you're eating the same pasta, but you are literally in two different movies.
Exactly. Dating at its core isn't just about finding someone hot. It's about finding someone whose sensory bubble, whose welt overlaps with yours. You are looking for someone who sees the signals you see, who values what you value.
That is a really beautiful, almost poetic way to look at it. We're just trying to merge bubbles.
Right.
But I want to pivot from the poetic biology to the brutal reality of the market. Because Alvaro de Menard, our other source, he doesn't seem to care about your wealth. He cares about your conversion rate.
He really does. Menard treats dating like a marketplace, pure and simple. And he suggests that most people are failing because they are trying to market a product to everyone.
This is the handcuff rule. I have to say, when I read this part of the source material, I just laughed out loud. But the logic is strangely sound.
It's sound, but it takes serious guts. So Menard talks about his own profile. He was looking for a very specific type of partner, someone kinky, adventurous, open-minded.
Right.
So instead of a nice, safe photo of him hiking or holding a golden retriever, which is what literally everyone does, he put a picture of a pair of leather handcuffs right on his dating profile.
Which surely is social suicide on a generic dating app. You're basically guaranteeing that 90% of people swipe left immediately.
Oh, massive amounts of people swiped left. Moms swiped left. Teachers swiped left. People looking for a traditional partner ran for the hills. But that is the entire point. He calls this strategic polarization.
Strategic polarization.
Yes, most people suffer from what he calls conversion optimization. They want the maximum number of matches just to boost their ego. They want everyone to like them.
Sure, validation.
Menard says that is a complete waste of time. You should actively filter for your specific niche.
So the handcuffs acted like a sieve.
Exactly. It lowered his total matches drastically, but the quality of the matches, people who actually fit what he wanted, skyrocketed. If someone swiped right on the handcuffs, he didn't have to have 3 weeks of awkward small talk to figure out if they were compatible. The signal was clear.
It's efficient. You want to be polarizing. You want to push away the people who aren't right for you so you can pull in the ones who are.
Exactly. Don't go for broad appeal. Target your niche. But Menard also drops a hard truth about this market that might upset some listeners. He says the market is ruthlessly efficient regarding leads.
I was waiting for this. The idea of leagues is usually dismissed as shallow or outdated, but Menard completely doubles down on it.
He argues that it is nearly impossible to consistently date out of your league without self-improvement. He says the system doesn't allow for delusions. If you want a partner who is fit, successful, and well-groomed, and you are none of those things, the market will correct you. You will get rejected.
And he identifies one specific investment that has the highest ROI. Let me guess. It's not learning a language or reading more books.
It's the gym, physical fitness. But, and this is a really key distinction, he says hitting the gym isn't just about aesthetics or vanity. He calls it a billboard for discipline and self-love.
A billboard for discipline.
Think about it. Being fit signals that you have the executive function to plan, the discipline to execute that plan every day, and the self-respect to maintain your body. It's a proxy for character.
That's a fascinating reframe. It's not just look hot, it's a signaling mechanism. If you can't love yourself enough to be healthy, are you ready to love someone else?
It's a tough pill, but it aligns perfectly with Mitchell's biology too. We're literally wired to look for markers of health and fitness because they signal good genes.
Right.
But Menard also makes a distinction that I think saves this from being purely superficial. He talks about the mindset. He says a lot of people treat dating like warfare, especially men.
Right, the whole pickup artist mentality. Dating is a conquest.
Exactly. You are trying to trick the adversary into sleeping with you. Menard says this is toxic and, frankly, ineffective in the long run. He argues that dating is a team sport.
I really liked that shift in perspective.
You are looking for a teammate. You aren't trying to trick someone. You are trying to find someone who wants the exact same goal you do. Whether that's a casual hookup or a 30-year marriage, you are cooperating to achieve a shared outcome.
It takes all the antagonism out of it.
It does.
So we know who we are biologically, our hardware, and we know who we want strategically, our market niche. But there's still a huge gap. How do we actually do the thing? How do you signal interest without just dying of embarrassment?
This is where Matthew Hussey comes in. He offers the tactical application. And he starts with a problem most of us have. the paralysis of rejection.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah.
The reason most people never make a move and end up dying alone with their cats.
He has this great metaphor for it, the unhatched egg.
Break that down for us.
So you have a crush on a friend, or maybe someone you see at the gym every Tuesday, but you never make a move. You just hold on to this crush. Hussey calls that an unhatched egg. You are protecting it because right now, in your imagination, inside that egg is a dragon. It's a phoenix. It's the love of your life. It's perfect potential.
But if you crack it open,
It might be empty. It might just be a yolk. And people are so terrified of finding nothing inside the egg, of getting a straight up no, that they never crack it. They live in the torture of what if, rather than the reality of no. Hussey's advice is crack the egg. It is better to know there's nothing there and move on than to nurse a fantasy for 6 months.
okay, I agree in principle, but practically, cracking the egg is terrifying. Does he give us a way to do it that doesn't involve walking up to a stranger and confessing our undying love? That's usually how people imagine it.
He does. He talks about plausible deniability. This is the secret sauce. You want to signal interest in a way that, if they aren't interested, you can play it off as just being friendly. You create a safety net for your ego.
Give us the arm wrestle. I feel like this is a classic example.
It's brilliant. So, ideally, this is in person or even a reply to a photo. You see them and you say, I bet I can beat you in an arm wrestle.
Okay, let's analyze why that works.
First, it notices their physique. You are acknowledging their body, which is inherently a little flirtatious. But you are framing it as a challenge. It's playful. It's a game. If they are interested, they can just laugh and say, in your dreams, or I'm too tired today. And it's not a rejection, it's just banter. You haven't lost face.
But if they are interested...
They will pick up the ball and run with it.
Oh, really?
You think so?
Yeah.
Suddenly you're touching. You're in physical proximity. You've created a spark without the high stakes of, I like you, do you like me?
It's a low-risk, high-reward program.
Exactly. He also talks about stock talk.
This one is for the people who never know what to say, right?
Stock talk is about playfully commenting on the environment. The example from the transcript was fantastic. A stock photo of a woman licking a cactus.
I'm sorry, licking a cactus.
Yeah, you know those weird internet stock photos? But the principle applies anywhere. If you're at a bar and the decor is bizarre, or you're at a party and the music is terrible, if you can make a joke about the absurdity of the world around you, like, why is there no soft crab at this buffet? You create a shared inside joke. You create a little world, a little welt, just for the two of you.
That connects right back to the team sport idea. You are inviting them to be in on the joke with you. You're creating an us against the weird world dynamic.
Yes. And once you have that connection, Hussey emphasizes space management. This is crucial, and it's something people get wrong all the time. You engage intensely, you have that great moment, and then you walk away.
Wait, you leave just when it's getting good?
You leave, you go get a drink, you go talk to someone else. Hussey says you have to close down space and then recreate it. This allows the other person to feel your absence.
Oh, that is powerful. It's scarcity.
It lets them observe you as an independent person in the room. It takes the pressure off. If you just stand there hovering over them for an hour, you become a burden. You become that guy or that girl who won't leave. If you walk away, you become a mystery. You become a moving target.
That is such a good nuance. It shows total confidence. So we have the verbal tactics. But I want to talk about the environment itself. We have these sources from Elite Singles and PLS1 about music. Does music actually make people hotter, or is that just a myth?
Scientifically, it's real. It's called the misattribution of arousal.
Sounds a little dangerous.
It can be. The PLS1 study found that when people listen to music, they actually rated faces as more attractive and were more willing to consider long-term relationships or even one-night stands with the people in the photos.
So the brain gets excited by the music, you get that dopamine hit, and thinks, oh, I must be excited by this person right in front of me.
Exactly. The brain confuses the emotional arousal from the song with sexual attraction. It's a biological cognitive hack.
So if you are on a date, picking a place with good music isn't just about atmosphere. It's literally making you look better.
100%. And if you play music yourself, even better. The Elite Singles data showed that 97% of Americans think listening to music with a partner is romantic. But here is the kicker. The type of instrument really matters.
Don't tell me it's the recorder. Please don't say the recorder.
It is definitely not the recorder. The guitar is the #1 most attractive instrument, chosen by 36% of people. It beats out drums by a significant margin.
Sorry, drummers, you're the backbone of the band, but the guitarist gets the day.
But if we connect this back to Mitchell and Nate, why do we care? Why is a guitar sexy? It's not just because Wonderwall is a catchy song. It's a biological signal. Music indicates cognitive fitness.
Cognitive fitness. Break that down.
Think about it. Playing an instrument requires fine motor control, complex memory, creativity, emotional intelligence. It's a peacock feather, but for the brain. When you serenade someone, you are basically shouting, "Look at my high-quality genes. Look at my neural processing speed."
It's a resume for your DNA.
Essentially, yes.
Okay, I want to get into the controversial stuff now, because when we talk about biology and dating, we eventually hit gender differences, and obviously in 2026, that can be a minefield. But innate goes there, and Menard goes there.
They do. And Mitchell is very careful, but very clear. He notes that sex differences in behavior, like the tendency for rough and tumble play in young boys, are seen across species. It's not just a human cultural thing. Chimps do it. Rats do it.
So this is hormonal.
Yes. It's linked to hormonal organization in the womb. The presence of testosterone during fetal development physically wires the brain differently.
What does that mean for dating? Because obviously we aren't wrestling in the womb.
It just validates that men and women might communicate or bond differently on a biological level. For example, the idea that men often bond through side-by-side activities, doing something together, looking at a third object, while women might bond more through face-to-face verbal communication. Now, it's not a hard rule, and individual variation is huge, but the biological predisposition is there.
And Menard has some hard truths about gender, too. He says for men, the system is pay to win.
He's very blunt. He says, first of all, you need to pay for the apps. He thinks trying to use the free versions is just a waste of time because the market is so incredibly competitive. You need every advantage. Super likes, boosts, whatever the platform offers.
He also has a very interesting take on the casual versus serious dating debate. He thinks they're the exact same skill set.
Yes, this is his marathon analogy. He says a hoe phase, basically a period of casual dating, is training for a marathon, and the marathon is marriage.
That is quite a comparison.
His entire point is, you can't run a marathon if you haven't trained at all. If you enter a serious relationship from a position of scarcity, where you haven't dated much, you don't know what you actually like, and you are basically desperate, you will choose poorly. He argues you need to learn who you are in the casual market to be effective in the serious market.
Which brings us to the one thing both Menard and Hussey completely agree on. Passivity is the enemy.
Absolutely. Hussey notes that something like 30 to 35% of people say their primary strategy is, I want them to make the first move.
Which means you have two people staring at each other across a bar, both waiting, and absolutely nothing happens.
It's a complete stalemate. And Menard says if you are waiting, you are losing. You have to be intentional.
So let's try to synthesize all of this. We've got this biological machine with its specific wiring and its umwelt. We've got the market strategy of polarization and self-improvement, and we've got the flirting tactics. How do we put this all together?
I think the synthesis is this. We are biological machines, exactly as Mitchell says. We can't change our genetics. You can't change that you are introverted or that you're naturally wired to like guitar players. But
here's the hope.
We can change our epigenetics so we can be artists. You can change your fitness. You can change your dreams. And you can learn the social skills Hussey teaches. Dating is a skill.
Like playing the piano.
Exactly. Mitchell even mentions tone deafness in his book. You might be biologically tone deaf to flirting. Maybe you just don't pick up on social cues naturally. But just like a musician can learn mechanics even if they don't have perfect pitch, you can learn the mechanics of stock talk or the arm wrestle.
You can practice the art form even if you weren't born a prodigy.
Yes, you have agency in this.
I love that. But I do want to leave the listener with a provocative thought from Mitchell that really stuck with me.
Lay it on us.
Mitchell argues that our free will is actually constrained by our biological habits. We do what feels rewarding to our specific dopamine receptors. So when you swipe right on that specific type of person, the bad boy or the manic pixie dream girl, are you actually making a choice? Or are you just repeating a pattern that your brain was pre-wired to find rewarding?
Oof. That is the question. Are we choosing love, or is our biology choosing it for us?
That is definitely something to ponder on your next date while you're listening to the background music and misattributing your arousal.
Hopefully not too much pondering, though. You still have to actually talk to them.
True. Well, on that existential note, I think the takeaway for this weekend is pretty clear. Go to the gym, maybe buy a guitar, and for the love of God, go crack an egg.
Crack the egg.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.